Hi, it's Dr. Maria Li. A question I often get is it safe to skip my period while I'm taking the oral contraceptive pill? The short answer is yes. In fact, doctors often recommend it. The long answer requires us to take a look at how the menstrual cycle works and how the pill affects this. In a normal menstrual cycle, our body makes the hormones estrogen and progesterone. Over the course of the month, the levels in these hormones fluctuate. And the fluctuation is very important because it is the change in the levels that makes our body ovulate. The hormone fluctuations also thicken the endometrium, which is the lining of our uterus, ready to nourish an embryo if it were to implant. If no embryo implants that month, then our hormones naturally drop away, and this tells the uterus to shed its lining in the form of our period. The combined oral contraceptive pill, which most people know as just the pill, contains man-made versions of our body's natural hormones. So when we take it, the body says, "Oh, I see you've already got some estrogen and progesterone floating around, so I'm just going to take a temporary break from making them." When this happens, we lose those fluctuations in hormone levels that I mentioned earlier, and so the body doesn't ovulate, which is what we want because that's how the pill prevents pregnancy. At the same time, the consistent dose of hormones delivered by the pill suppresses the thickening of the endometrium, which is why when you take the inactive pills in your packet and get your period, you'll notice that the bleeding is much lighter than usual. This is because the endometrium was suppressed and not allowed to get thick, and hence there's not that much to shed. If you don't know what I mean by inactive pills, they're the tablets in your packet that look different to most of the other ones. Most brands of the pill contain 3 weeks of active pills, which contains the actual medication, followed by 1 week of inactive pills, which doesn't actually contain any medication. When you take the inactive pills, the level of pill hormone in your body naturally drops away, which signals to the uterus to shed whatever lining it managed to build up over that month. This is why you usually start having your period a couple of days after you start the inactive pills. Okay, so after that physiology lesson, which I hope made sense, let's answer the question that we came here to answer, which is it safe to skip my period while taking the pill? In other words, is it okay to skip taking the inactive pills and just continuously take the active pills back to back to avoid getting your period? And the answer is yes. In fact, doctors often recommend doing this. There are several reasons for this. Firstly, it reduces the risk of an unplanned pregnancy. Now remember what I said. The pill provides contraception by delivering a steady dose of hormone to suppress ovulation. Now, those days of the month when we stop taking the active pill and take the inactive pills, that poses the greatest risk for an event that we call escape ovulation. This is where, in the temporary absence of the pill hormones, the body can actually kick in and trigger the release of an egg. Now, thankfully, this rarely happens if you take the pill as directed and don't miss any. However, it can occasionally happen during the taking of the inactive pills. By taking the active pills continuously, not only do we avoid getting a period, but we also continuously suppress ovulation and therefore significantly reduce the risk of an unplanned pregnancy. Secondly, skipping your period reduces your risk of iron deficiency. The endometrium is full of juicy blood vessels, so it's inevitable that when you have your period and the endometrium is shed, that there is always some degree of blood loss involved. Blood contains iron, and having a regular period increases the risk of iron deficiency. Iron deficiency can cause a whole host of problems such as headaches, poor concentration, exhaustion. That's a topic for another video. Suffice to say, however, that skipping your period allows your body to preserve its iron stores, which is always a good thing. And thirdly, skipping your period just gives you that general convenience of not having to plan around your period, purchase feminine hygiene products, plan your outfits, worry about leaking. Menstruators, you know what I'm talking about. Now, this video wouldn't be complete without addressing a concern that I hear all the time from patients, which is the myth that if you skip your period while on the pill, then all that menstrual blood will just back up inside the uterus. This is definitely not true. Remember what I said about the pill suppressing the thickening of the endometrium so that it never builds up much? Well, if someone were to continue taking the active pills without a break, then it would maintain their endometrium at that suppressed thickness. There's no building up, there's no backing up, there is no medical safety issue whatsoever. So in summary, it's perfectly safe to skip your period while taking the oral contraceptive pill. In fact, for the reasons that I've just discussed, many doctors recommend it.